Namaskar. I am grateful to all of you who have joined today for paying homage to Mahatma Gandhi on his 75th Martyrs Day when he gave his life for the cause of harmony, brotherhood, and humanity. It was unfortunate that an apostle of universal peace and nonviolence fell a victim to violence. I thank the Indian Mission for hosting this tribute during the commemoration of the 75th anniversary of India's independence. Even though 7 decades have gone by since Mahatma Gandhi passed on, in every part of the world, his relevance is felt as strongly as ever before, and his vision and actions are of an enduring significance for all times and places. His approach to life was holistic and cannot be divided into watertight compartments of social, religious, political, personal, and public life. Gandhiji stands out as the champion not only of political democracy but also of economic and spiritual democracy in today's world. He believed that moral degeneration is the root cause of all evils, including conflicts. This explains his lifelong crusade of attainment of moral values such as truthfulness, nonviolence, purity of means, love, self control, forgiveness, respect, friendliness, compassion, mercy, and so on. His messages resound with people of all faiths worldwide, as he is the spiritual and political leader of one of the world's most profound and complex cultural traditions. Many world leaders have been inspired by him and continue to get inspired till today. The world is faced with so many kinds of conflicts and diverse types of crises these days. We see Mahatma Gandhi's emphasis on nonviolence, universal brotherhood, and peaceful coexistence having an all time relevance. His entire life story is about action to bring about positive changes. He both succeeded and failed in what he sought to do, but he always moved forward and he never gave up the quest for improvement, both social and spiritual, and both for individuals and for the nation as a whole. Today, Gandhiji is remembered not only as a political leader but as a moralist who appealed to the universal conscience of mankind. There is a galaxy of men, women, and children in different parts of the world who have taken a leaf from Gandhiji to fashion their initiatives for ensuring peace, non-violence, justice, and fighting against discrimination. I want to share one of the last notes left behind by Gandhiji in 1948, expressing his deepest social thought. And I quote, I will give you a talisman. Whenever you are in doubt or when the self becomes too much with you, apply the following test. Recall the face of the poorest and the weakest man or woman whom you may have seen and ask yourself if the step you contemplate is going to be of any use to him or her. Will he or she gain anything by it? Will it restore him or her to a control over his or her own life and destiny? In other words, will it lead to Swaraj or freedom for the hungry and spiritually starving millions? Then you will find your doubts in yourself melt away. Unquote. This statement of Mahatma Gandhi perhaps is one of the most powerful commentaries on compassion and kindness. Gandhiji had envisioned a nation where social bonds were stronger and were built on the foundation of trust. In his 50 years of public life in three continents, Asia, Europe, and South Africa, Gandhiji demonstrated the efficacy of extending respect for all living beings. Human dignity, oneness, empathy are impossible without compassion. Gandhiji emerged as the voice of the voiceless that inspired social reformers and political thinkers all over the world. He brought in a new era of non-violent civil disobedience based on the ability of each human being to free himself from fear. He believed that fearlessness becomes a major pillar on which to build together with love and the capacity to resist when necessary. It is interesting to see that Gandhiji conceives fearlessness as a precondition for love. He who is weak cannot love, probably because he or she is not free enough and does not have the surplus of warmth and energy from which love can come forth. He used to remain positive under all circumstances, and that was his main trait. He had faced many challenges in his life, but he remained positive all throughout. Nonviolence and the message of peace is familiar word among the world leaders to settle any dispute. It goes without saying that it is never possible to evaluate how much India and the world owes to Mahatma Gandhi. For Gandhiji, peace was not an end by itself. Rather, it was only a sort of means to ensure better welfare for the mankind. According to Gandhiji, violence leads to concentration of power, whereas non-violence encourages decentralization. We must learn from his experience of non-violent actions or resistance from a global perspective. Mahatma Gandhi's lifelong quest was in the pursuit of truth. In fact, he even had said that truthfulness is more important than peacefulness. He was following an ancient tradition of using spirituality as a basis of social change. His approach was always aimed at appealing to the head and the heart. Gandhiji's life provides an excellent role model of the ways of spiritual development in his crusade to oppose the unjust system. The techniques he crafted, like Satyagraha, and the strategies he followed in his public life give us insights into how spirituality can be applied to improve human conditions in today's world. The applications are not India specific but are universal. Gandhiji sought the guidance of his inner voice not only in the spiritual realm but also in the political realm. Perhaps the greatest source of strength for Mahatma Gandhi was in his faith in God. Truth was the deepest and the most complete form of God. The faith gave him the constant awareness that he was to be nothing but an instrument in his hands. He was to go wherever he was led. For him, the guidance of God constituted two things. One, he had to walk on the path enlightened by truth that was available to him in whatever measures and form. Two, he had to constantly gaze inwards and find inspiration through self introspection, self examination, self purification, and by constantly questioning himself. The deeper the faith, the greater was the endeavor for Mahatma Gandhi. He said, "Truth is God." Faith in truth led Mahatma Gandhi to two other realizations. If God is omnipresent, then truth is omnipresent too. If each human being were an aspect of God, then each person is capable of truth, of being good and doing good to others. His endeavor throughout his life was devoted to the search of that element of truth, to awaken it and to nurture it. Therefore, he could feel oneness with everyone, and that is another one of his important traits. For most of us, this realization does not set in at all, but for him, it was easy because of the understanding of oneness. He had no enemies. He did not want to settle scores with anyone, and he did not want to take any revenge. He merely wanted to extend his love, compassion, and respect to everyone. He respected individuals as individuals without attaching any labels. It was to his unique credit that in a world marred by violence and hatred, Mahatma Gandhi stands firm as a man of universal goodwill and a protagonist of peace. What is most striking is that Gandhiji emerged during his lifetime as a torchbearer of peace, and even today he continues to surprise mankind with his nonviolent methods of resolving conflicts. Mahatma Gandhi was always touched by the pain of others. This ability to feel the pain of others led him to compassion. Compassion, coupled with daya or pity, led to the spirit of service or seva. Gandhiji's first and foremost inner calling was to alleviate the suffering of others. This was the inner calling that he identified and invested it in serving and helping people by establishing their self respect and dignity. He had a keen desire to restore the dignity of all human beings. The greatest degree of inner tranquility came to Gandhiji from the development of love and compassion, non attachment, and non possession. The more we care for the happiness of others, the greater our own sense of well being becomes. Cultivating a close, warm hearted feeling for others automatically puts the mind at ease. This helps remove whatever fears or insecurities we may have and gives us the strength to cope up with any obstacles we encounter. It is the ultimate source of success in life. Gandhian humanism and its practical application are the way forward in the world. His noble spirit and warm, humane kindness have endeared him to all humanitarians throughout the world. Nowadays, our world has become so interdependent that any conflict between nations inevitably impacts the rest of the world. The only way to establishing peace in the world is through nonviolence. We need to develop a sense of solidarity among ourselves by considering other human beings as our brothers and sisters, as part of one family. Gandhiji's idea of nonviolence was to live and help others to live. Helping others to live with mutual respect should become the foundation of our life. Gandhiji stood for the right to freedom, right to dignity and equality, and the right to freedom from bondage, poverty, untouchability, and discrimination. All these are the essence of his approach towards humanity. He had said, and I quote, "When I despair, I remember that all through history, the ways of truth and love have always won. There have been tyrants and murderers, and for a time they can seem invincible. But in the end, they always fall. Think of it always." Unquote. In today's globalized world, we already have all the material comforts required for living contently. We are taught by the market forces to want more and more, even as we see the world around us engulfed in greed, violence, and intolerance. Today's world laments violence in the frequent attacks, riots, war, but the last century was even more disastrous. In such a time, a frail leader, Mahatma Gandhi, was the most influential and important political leader and a thinker of the 20th century whose legacy still inspires people globally. In a world that is divided in the matters of faith and religion, that is shaping and determining the politics of this world in a barbaric way, Gandhiji brought in a noble path. He continued to lay importance on interfaith dialogue and cultivating understanding towards nonviolent, compassionate, and emancipatory aspects of their own religion. Mahatma Gandhi inspires globally as the first environmentalist and a minimalist. He recognized the need for conservation and preservation way before the dangers of climate change had preoccupied the world. He had pointed out that Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. Gandhiji had said that life should be need based, not greed based. He was a thinker who clearly realized the reality of overuse, abuse, and misuse of the global commons. He lived out his environmental philosophy in his own life. He is a man who compulsorily reused and recycled everything and lived in harmony with nature. He lived a life of openness and transparency. His ashram was accessible to anyone. Anyone could walk in and debate and argue with him. Mahatma Gandhi had a profound influence on Dr. Albert Einstein. Dr. Einstein's message on Gandhiji's 75th birthday sums up the essential character of Gandhiji's leadership. Dr. Albert Einstein said, and I quote, "A leader of his people, unsupported by an outward authority, a victorious fighter who always scorned the use of force, a man of wisdom and humility who has confronted the brutality of Europe with the dignity of the simple human being and at all times risen superior." Unquote. Gandhiji realized early in his life the importance of humanity, love, and kindness to other living beings and acted upon it. He kept humanity in high regard, which gave a deep meaning to his life. Throughout his life, Gandhiji was a humble servant of India and of humanity. And he said, and I quote, "I believe in absolute oneness of God and therefore also of humanity." What though we have many bodies, we have but one soul. The rays of the sun are many through refraction, but they have the same source. It comprehends the whole of humanity. Its realization would thus mean the establishment of the kingdom of heaven on earth. Unquote. He respected all humans as one and only one, regardless of caste, creed, religion, and race. This oneness brought peace and harmony. He maintained that the future of humanity lies in this oneness, and we should broaden the outlook on humanity so that the whole human race can live in peace. Gandhiji always held service in high regard and realized God through service of humanity. He maintained that the dignity of humankind lies in equality and justice for all. He said the dignity of human nature requires that we must face the storms of life. Today, humankind is reeling under various kinds of social tensions and imbalances, disturbing his peace. In such a scenario, Gandhiji's words to believe in the possibility of permanent peace are prophetic. When peace and harmony become the main cause of every kind of service rendered to the nation and its people, it becomes the service of God. We have a unique opportunity to take the lead and open a new page in human history by learning from Gandhiji to address the global challenges. It is because our own human existence is so dependent on the help of others that our need for love and compassion lays at the very foundation of our existence. Therefore, we need a genuine sense of responsibility and a sincere concern for the welfare of others. Mahatma Gandhi gave his last interview to Margaret Brooke White, an American photographer, in the early afternoon on 30th January 1948, and it was to be his last message of compassion to mankind, in which he told her that nonviolence is the greatest force at the disposal of mankind. It is mightier than the mightiest weapon of destruction devised by the ingenuity of man. Gandhiji had further said, I do not believe in shortcuts which involve violence. However much I sympathize with and admire worthy motives, I am an uncompromising opponent of violent methods, even to serve the noblest causes. There is therefore really no meeting ground between the school of violence and myself. The heart that bled at the sight of the misery of others was bled to death on 30th January 1948 with the three death dealing slugs buried deep in it. India lost a soul, but his spirit lives on, and that spirit will continue to live among us as it carries in its chapters the mild but unassailable truth that peace is a positive force and that it can still move the human race away from the darkness towards light. Mahatma Gandhi had declared, and I quote, Am I going to be silenced after my death? I will proclaim my faith even in death and speak from the grave. Unquote. What was the faith that he wanted to proclaim from the grave? It was faith in truth, that was God. It was faith in the goodness of all, as all are capable of truth. It was faith in the goodness of mankind. It was faith that despite the faults and upheavals, humanity would move towards goodness because truth, that is God, is only interested in the welfare of its creation. I once again take this opportunity to thank the Indian Mission for remembering Mahatma Gandhi on this Martyrs' Day. My special thanks are to all of you who have joined me online. I will end with the peace benediction in Sanskrit for the universal welfare. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lead us from untruth to truth, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace.